Hey, we're here with Sharon today. Sharon came to Shaping Perspectives here on the Maine Coast and spent a VIP weekend here with me. So she was here for 3 days, and I think it was three, might have been 4 days. And we did some deep dive work. And so I'm here going to talk to Sharon a little bit about how the VIP went. And so the first question I have for you is, coming across the country to spend a few days with one person. I mean, we know each other, so that's helpful. What were your expectations?
Well, I think that I knew I wasn't afraid as far as spending time with you because I've always felt comfortable and I knew that there was going to be unconditional acceptance and that I would feel comfortable spending those 4 days with you. I think I didn't know overall what to expect for myself because I was kind of at a point physically that mobility was hard for me because of arthritis and just some physical things that I had going on. But all of that was put aside as soon as I got there. I knew that that's the beautiful thing about a VIP is that you have specially geared it exactly for what that person needs. And it met my needs as far as where I was physically, mobility wise, and also eating wise, just overall where I was in my journey.
Yeah, that's great to know because everybody does come from a different place and they are in a different part in their journey as well, right? And so it was really helpful to have kind of an idea of the work that you've been doing so far. And so we could really dive deep into exactly what you needed for the weekend. What surprised you the most out of the time together?
I think the incredible ability to go deep. I never felt rushed during the process. And I don't think I've ever been through a process ever like that. Because I've went to facilities and places before, but they've always usually been broke up into like 45-minute or hour sessions. And so I would feel like sometimes like I would have these breakthroughs, but they would happen at the 41 minute into the 45 minutes. And then I would feel like, okay, Sharon, pack it back up. Don't let it out too much. Get it back in the box so that when this is over, you can walk away and you're not left kind of in limbo with all these emotions. The beautiful thing about the VIP session is you would spend like 5 hours with me in the afternoon, and we like went so deep and we were able to write it and to actually concretely be able to find out some things that were happening in my life that were contributing to issues that I struggled with as far as emotional eating. We were able to look at ways for me to be more mobile, ways to accommodate the arthritis and the mobility issues, things that I thought some were the big issues in eating wise in my life turned out not to be. I discovered things that they just seemed like they weren't even on my radar, and all of a sudden they jumped out there on the radar, and I was able to work through them, and I never felt like I had to just hurry up and box stuff back up, because that was the beautiful thing about it. We didn't box stuff back up. We wrote it on index cards, and at the end I took the stuff that I wanted to keep with me back home, and then the stuff that I didn't, we were able to like shred and say goodbye to. And that was, I think, one of the best experiences of the whole thing, was that never feeling rushed or hurried and able to process until you get to that point where you're like, aha, this is it.
Yeah, getting those ahas. It's true.
Yeah,
They sometimes show up when you least expect them, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Mm.
And they're buried sometimes under what my conceptions are.
Yeah, there's an outer
Or
layer.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there's an outer layer, and it's something that's underneath. It's that iceberg. We've talked about that iceberg theory, where the iceberg is what's showing, but there's all this stuff that's under the water, which kind of is really where it all begins or starts, right?
Mhm.
How is the VIP differ from like regular coaching like this?
It truly is the time.
Mm.
It's that I think, I'm not going to I think I could say this. I can't imagine anybody not benefiting from the deep dive. The ability to spend 5 hours together, face to face, no interruptions, no phones, nothing, truly diving into the areas of your life that you're wanting to examine and to find those ways to help you to move forward and be successful with intuitive eating and being able to relearn those basic abilities to acknowledge your hunger
Mm.
and to find the freedom of not feeling the shame that comes with a lot of the emotional eating and eating disorders. So I think that it 45 minutes is great if you've had a VIP, but I think that VIP and then the 45 minutes is like the perfect combination because for me, like I said, I discovered things that I didn't even know were issues and on the that they'd never even been on my radar, but they were important and they played a critical role in me figuring out moments that this is going to help me to let this go. This is going to let me move forward um, with a lighter backpack.
Right, a lighter backpack. Yeah, we use that backpack analogy, the things that we carry around
Mm-hmm.
that just weigh us down,
Right.
and to be able to release some of those things can make a big, big difference in the way we take care of ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
So like if you think about what was one thing that you took away from being at the VIP that you've been able to, that you've learned that you've been able to kind of implement now that you're back home?
Um, I One of the things that, and it seems like a small thing, but the micro journaling that you introduced me to, because I my whole life have always had this love affair with journals to buy them, but I I would never really write in them. Or I would start, but I would stop because it just seemed so complicated. But the micro journaling that we did together and that you taught me was so easy to just find those three things and write them down. Thank you today for my body allowing me to do this. This is just three things, and target those, and that it doesn't always have to be this huge like process of writing. Sometimes it can just be small acknowledgments every day, and also the whole letting things go. There were things that I needed to let go. A lot of changes had happened in my life in the last couple of years, and there was grief and just a lot of different areas, health issues, and it was really nice to be able to acknowledge those areas, but also to be able to leave them behind on the main coast.
Right, right. We throw them in the ocean
Yeah,
over
it's
here.
a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to add about the experience?
I think that I had never done a VIP, and if you've never done one, I'm not sure that my mind would ever been able to conceptualize what a wonderful experience it is. And it is worth the investment because it is life-changing. And it will truly be one of those things that you look back on in life and say, I'll definitely do that again. Because it brings you to a place of that's away from the world. I'm away from the worldly routine. I'm able to turn off the outside distractions and work with you. And you were able to slowly walk me through the processes of discovery. And we need that. And it was an invaluable experience and a life-changing experience, and one that is perfectly detailed for where you are in your life. It is not a cookie cutter. Everything that you brought, like for me, was detailed for me. From bringing the two tennis balls taped together to help with my feet, to rub my feet across it, to help with, the tendonitis in my feet, and just all of the little things that were added in there for me, for self-care, and truly making it a VIP, not just calling it a VIP session, but making it one that is customized exactly for the client that you're with. It's not a cookie cutter program, and that was really special for me.
Yeah, when we talked after our time together towards the end, I think that that's one of the things that we shared with each other, is how different this kind of an experience is, and how it's really hard to put into words exactly what happens during this time. And I will share too that I do have a couple of people coming back because of that, exactly what you're saying. It's I had one woman just say the other day, I'm just going to keep coming back every year, because I think it just gave her a new footing, and a forward, kind of this forward momentum, and getting rid of some bags, lightening her load out of the backpack, and able to step forward and make some small little changes. And that's what it's all about. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Ann. I was just going to add, we do it for our cars. We should do the maintenance for ourselves.
Oh, yeah, that's a great analogy.
It is an incredible maintenance program, and I for sure will do it again. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sharon. And do you mind if I share something that we talked about how sometimes families could utilize this kind of a program, so that that they all can speak kind of that same language? Do you want to share a little bit about that? Because we were having that conversation.
Yeah, when I was in the program, I realized that I have a lot of women that are around my age, or some of them are 10 years younger, but that I'm really close to within my family. And because this is a women's based, Shaping Perspective is women's based, I started to think of them, and I thought this would be an incredible group VIP program for our family to do, the women in our family, because I think it's wonderful to come together and to be able to share and to have the discovery process and to learn the intuitive eating program, so that future generation of women in our family can be proud of who they are at any size, can be okay if it's a chocolate chip cookie or if it's a piece of kale, that it's just food, and that their relationships from like birth for the new generations can be changed by our generation coming together and learning with you the fundamentals of intuitive eating and just compassion and self-care. And I just think it has such a power to change for the future. And that's something I really do. I will want to spend time with my family talking about them, and seeing if we can get a girls trip to come back to Maine to do that, and to learn together to shape our futures.
Yeah. And that, from our conversation, it's created that same kind of mission in myself about the generations that are growing up in today's society with social media and the culture the way it is. And so that conversation that you and I had, I learned just as much from you during our time together as you do from me. It's a give and take, and we're on this journey together. And I thank you and so appreciate you as a wonderful human being. And I'm so glad I get to spend time with you. So thank you very much. And thanks for taking a few moments out of your day to check out a little bit about our VIP at Shaping Perspectives.